Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to solve some interesting puzzles.
Yes, today we will do interesting puzzles and we will check how good you are in calculations. So let's start with these positions that you see on the chessboard. We're gonna play white and we have to checkmate the black king in 5 moves. Everything should be fours, so all moves should be with check. Okay, so Tara, what ideas do you have?
So maybe we can see that if we move the knight on d5 to somewhere, it will lead to a check. So maybe we can try that for our first move, but we want to see where we can place the knight.
Yeah, and probably it's more interesting to start with a double check in this position. Yeah, it looks like white has two possibilities. So knight e7 and knight captures f6. I think it's interesting to take the rook first. Yeah, I think that black has just one move. Yeah, by the way, when it's a double check, no one helps king. Yeah, just the king can escape. So black has just this move. Yeah, king captures g7. Okay, what can we do now? Maybe we can try to move the queen closer, yeah, and check the king. Let's see what happens after this. So I think that we lose the knight, yeah?
Yeah,
So the king
I think.
captures the knight. Yeah, and in this position, I don't think that the queen is enough for making a checkmate, right? So not this
Yeah.
time. So probably queen g8 is not the best move. We can also think about knight e8 and knight h5, because I think that queen b7 also doesn't help us. So let's talk about knight h5. So what black can do in this position? So
We'll
black
move our
has
king.
these moves. Yeah, so I think that king f8 looks nice. So now the white queen can't get closer to the king. The knight can't check it. I mean, queen b4
And
is not a good move. We just lose it, right?
And if you check like queen to b8, it will just be a check. It won't lead to the checkmate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that white pieces are not working together. Yeah, so they are too far away from each other, and I don't think that they can make real problems for the king and checkmate it. Yeah. So
And
it looks
here we
like knight captures f6 wasn't the best plan. It was a double check. We took the rook, so should be good for us, but probably not this time. So what else can we try?
so we want to make a check and try to get our knight closer to the king. So we saw that when we took the rook, it didn't lead to the checkmate. So maybe we can try knight to e7.
Yeah, let's see what is the difference between knight e7 and knight captures f6. So black still has just one possible move. Its king captures the pawn. Okay, maybe now we can move the white queen closer. I mean, closer to the
So
king, yeah, to make a check.
yeah, so we can go queen to g8, and they can take our
Mhm.
queen because the knight on e7 is supporting.
Yeah, so this is a difference. When the knight was on f6, the king just took the knight, right? In this position, white saves the knight. So, okay, black has one square for the king. Okay, and now an interesting moment. So if you watched the previous video about smothered checkmate, I think it would be not difficult for you to find this move. Yeah, so by the way, which piece usually makes a smothered checkmate?
So we discussed that it was with the knight, and here we want to learn how important it is to coordinate the pieces, even if we sacrifice some pieces. If it leads to checkmate, then it'll be good for us. So what we can do here is we can play queen to g6.
Interesting. So we were afraid to lose the knight, but in this position, we're ready to sacrifice the queen. So yeah, sometimes this happens in chess. So, okay, nothing unusual for us. So the king can't capture because the knight is defending the queen. Yeah. So and black has to take with a rook. So you see, it's an important moment. When you want to make a smothered checkmate, usually the piece that you sacrificed, yeah, to close position of the king more, it should be defended. Because if the king takes, no checkmate. Okay, so what is the next step for white in this position?
So here we can play knight takes f5, and we can see that the king can't go to g7 because of our knight. It controls that square.
Yeah, so black has just one move. It's king to h5. So interesting, black has so many pieces. White has a king, a knight, and a pawn. But in this position, white mates in one. So let's find this mate together.
So we can see that the king can't go to any squares. They can't go to king to g4 or king to h4 or king to h6. So the next move that we make will be a checkmate. So that will be pawn to g4, and that is the checkmate.
Yeah, so the king doesn't have any moves. Very good. So
And the
let's repeat one more time. So we start with a double check. Then we move the queen closer. We don't afraid to sacrifice the queen. And then g4 is a checkmate. So very interesting puzzle.
and also how we can calculate in the future. So
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's go to the next position. It's a different position with different ideas and different plans, but it's a nice example of passed pawns. So as you can see, white has two passed pawns in this position. One of them is blocked by the bishop, and another one is attacked by the king. So it looks like position is not winning for white, yeah, because black king just captures the pawn on a4. But endgames are tricky. So if white would be able to move both of the pawns, I think that it's impossible for black to stop them. So I would be happy to play a5 in this position, but my own bishop is blocking the pawn. So what can I do with this? Tara, I really need your help.
So what we can try to do is we can try to move the bishop to a square, and it's important which square that is.
I know,
And
I know. I want to play bishop c7. So does it help me?
it won't help. They can take the pawn.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like a winning position for white. So if you just move the bishop somewhere, unfortunately, you can't win. Okay, so what else can we do?
So the correct move is bishop to c3, and we'll see why that works.
Wait a minute. So you mean that you put the bishop on c3 where both of black pieces, like the bishop and the king, can take it? Really? Okay, so I take with the bishop. What happens now? It looks
So
like the next move will be king takes a4, or you have a plan.
yeah, we have a plan. So we have two pawns that are ready to, that are thinking about promotion. And if they reach to that square, they can get a queen, a rook, a knight, or a bishop. That's what the pawn promotion is. So what we can do is we can distract the bishop so they can go away from one diagonal so we can get our pawn to the promotion. So what we can play is we can play a5.
Yeah, but I just capture.
Yeah. And if they capture, we can play g7.
Really? What happens? Black can't stop the pawn, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no questions. Yeah, but what if black takes the bishop with a king? What happens now?
Then we go the other way with pawn to a5.
Okay, I try to stop it. So I have a plan, bishop d4 and then c4, and I will control a7. So does it help me?
You can just play a6.
Okay, c4. So now I think
Then,
that you have a choice to play a7 or g7 because both of the moves should be good for white. Yeah, and absolutely winning.
so if you play, for example, g7, then the bishop will take, or else there will be a promotion. So then you play a7, and then black can't stop it.
Yeah, of course, you just promote a queen and position is absolutely winning for white. Okay, but I think that we have discussed one more possibility for black. What if the king captures the pawn? What white can do in this position?
So if the king captures the pawn, we can take the bishop.
Uh-huh, so we get a winning endgame. Yeah, okay, good for us. So position is winning. So yeah, it
Yeah,
means that in positions, even if you think first that the move is very bad, that you lose your piece, and it doesn't make any sense, you still have to think and try to calculate this move. Because for the first look, move is not good, but when you look deeper into the position, you will see that it's the only right and the only winning move. So that's why bishop c3 is the best move, and you shouldn't like not think about moves like this.
yeah. And we can see how the different lines lead to the different variations. There's lots of possibilities for white to win here.
That's why chess
So,
is good for your brain.
so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video to others. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye!
Bye.